Welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Megan Hartley and I'm a part of the Sales and Development team here at ENJO Australia. Here with me today for our second ENJO Life chat, we have two wonderful people, ENJO's founder and CEO, Barb Corti, welcome.
Hello.
And we have our ENJOpreneur, Nikki, who's been with us for 6 months with her ENJO business. Welcome. Hi. Unfortunately, Hayley Zherpel, who was joining us this evening, is unfortunately very unwell. So get well soon, Hayley, and we'll hopefully have you at one of our upcoming ENJO Life chats. So last month we had our first ENJO Life chat with a strong focus around the ENJO culture and brand purpose. From that live, we had a lot of questions around starting a business and what it's like to be a new business owner. So today we're going to discuss the first 90 days in business and what you can expect. Please feel free to ask any questions during the next 30 minutes and we'll endeavour to answer them while we are live. So let's start with you, Nikki. How has your ENJO journey begun and what enticed you to start your ENJO business?
Okay, so I went to an ENJO demo at a girlfriend's place about 7 months ago, and there was the lovely Christine Phillips. She was my ENJOpreneur.
Beautiful.
So she was talking about the fibres, obviously, and she was talking about the business and needing more people. And she was talking about the holiday incentives. Okay, got me. And then also talking about the flexibility. So it just sounded really good. So that's when I thought, yeah, I'll have a look into it and see whether I'd like to take the next step. But the flexibility of doing, while I was coming up to Christmas. So nice. Yeah, so doing that around Christmas and New Year's, my daughter's 21st, all that happening. Knowing that I was able to have that flexibility was really good. So yeah, I was able to get my 30, 60 and 90 days with all that happening. So yeah, that was really good.
In such a busy time period as well. Christmas, so that's awesome.
Exactly.
Now I know you're relatively new and achieving success in your own right. Can you tell us what it comes down to? Your own work ethics obviously play a massive part. But how have you found the support since starting your ENJO businesses? I know a lot of our viewers do ask questions about the support.
The support has been really good. So from Christine being my ENJOpreneur to another Christine being my team leader to the Facebook groups and then head office. Like I've got customer call on my speed dial. So the support has been fantastic. It doesn't matter what sort of question you've got. A silly question is, it's no silly question.
Oh, we do laugh about it.
Oh, of course you've got it. And I do too. And I have asked those silly questions and then gone, yeah, I know that answer. Yeah, sorry. But I've not felt
knowing you can ask that question at any time.
Exactly. The support there has been so good that I can ask those silly questions without feeling like a dill.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. And Barb, I know that this is something you actively look to promote from ENJO HQ perspective, development and support, and it's a goal of yours to have people to be here that it's so much more than just a job at ENJO, that create a positive culture internally and externally within our field. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, for us it's so important that we actually authentic. I think if we don't live internally what we actually talk about externally, it's like you're talking about sustainability and we don't live it here in your head office. We're talking about a culture of community, a culture of sustainability, a culture of really supporting each other and empowering each other, and at the same time not doing it in your head office. I'm extremely proud of my team, of my staff, because they come up with most amazing ideas. So a lot of the ideas will actually come from the staff, and the staff will go like, have you ever thought of doing this? Like Clean Up Australia Day was one of those things, that would be really great that we as a group get together and clean up various beaches across Australia together with our ENJOpreneurs, their families, our customers. So there is a real sense of community, and I love it when ENJOpreneurs get really successful, or they make it to a festival, or do a synergy, or they win an award or a gift. Everybody's cheering, and there's like 15 people congratulating people, you know, which probably have never met yet, but will in the future. So it's so important to be authentic, and that the culture, you know, stems from us in here and, you know, emanates down or up to the ENJOpreneur and to the customer as well.
Definitely, and I think as well from a ENJO HQ perspective, going down to Clean Up Australia Day with family and friends who don't even work here, it just, the flow-on effect is really incredible. Nikki, do you feel that positive culture within the field as an ENJOpreneur?
I do. You're walking the talk. It's really good to see. I've worked for organisations that you know, say one thing, but you can see behind the scenes it's not really happening. Where here, everyone that I have met and what you've said, you know, I'm getting high fives. I've got some flowers, and you know, I've been pumped up, and it feels good, you know, because you are doing well. So it's really good. And also, so you know, I suppose it all sort of started out that I was jumping on board because of the fibres.
Yeah.
And how good they are and how they clean with just water and not chemicals. But then it's actually grown to be a lot more. You know, we're part of Clean Up Australia, Earth Hour, and there's the other one that I was going to, we've got Earth Hour, Clean Up Australia,
and the barrier reef.
The new one, how could I forget that? And of course,
it's very new, it's only a couple of days old.
Exactly, but you know, that is fantastic. So when you know that you're with a company that is aligned with these values, then yeah, I'm here, I'm part of the family now.
You know, that it is so important that I looked at yesterday in France, the cathedral burning and Notre Dame. I have been there through ENJO actually, and some of our ENJOpreneurs as well. And I actually was crying because there's 800 years of history burning down, and the whole world is now donating money. 300 million euros have been donated already. And then quietly, and I don't want to take away from what happened in Paris, but quietly our barrier reef is dying. And we don't get 300 million to save it because you can't see it. And it has been there much longer, you know, and I have been, again, through ENJO, able to dive there and see it. And it gives so much to the ecosystem and so forth. And I think this is where ENJOpreneurs are so important, you know. What we do as ENJOpreneurs is as important, like the firefighters did for Notre Dame. We did we do for the barrier reef by not putting chemicals into the environment or plastic bottles out there. So we as ENJOpreneurs play an extremely important role, the way the planet is going to look like in 20, 30, 40 years. And I think we have to remember that as well, you know. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
I think it's interesting because everyone's why behind why they start their business is always very different by the end, because you see the change and the difference you make. So that's beautiful. So I know a lot of the feedback from our last ENJO Life event was viewers wanting to know about getting started, how much time it takes. Now, Nikki, you've just been on this journey yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about when you started, and was your family on board? How did you go about that?
Yes, so my family on board. I think my daughter is watching today. That's how on board she is, so that's good.
Hi, Nikki's daughter.
But no, how I actually started was I was asking everybody, like my family and friends, what they thought of ENJO. And everyone that I came across that knew ENJO loved it and spoke positively about it. So that was a no deal. Okay, yep, I'm going to jump on board too. And so then, because they'd already said positive things about ENJO, I was able to say, okay, now that you've helped me start my business, can you have a demo? So that's how I started. It was just by doing that, just contacting those people, making sure that I was doing the right thing, and then using them to help me as well to go further.
How did you find your timing and fitting your business into your lifestyle? How did you go about that? Was it time consuming? Did you have any challenges for those that may be thinking some of those things?
One of the things that I did find definitely maybe not a challenge, but
Yep.
definitely time consuming. And I'm sure that if anyone that's watching this, that's an ENJOpreneur, would say is coming back after a demo
Yep.
and just filling in everyone's address, putting everything in. So that's another reason why I'm really happy, because I feel like I've just really jumped on board and the jackpot is happening. All these things are just happening. It's great. So we've got eDemo started, or starting. I haven't used, so I've got a demo that'll be using it. So I'm looking forward to that, where you take the work away from the ENJOpreneur. So that will help. That was probably the challenge and the time consuming.
Yeah, okay.
Everything else.
The boring stuff too, isn't it? It's boring.
You've already done your order.
It's like doing a BAS statement, you know?
That's right, it has to be done. But yeah, just click, 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 click. But when they can actually do it themselves while they're there.
As a consumer. So for those that aren't aware, eDemo is actually an online ordering platform that we've recently launched this week to our ENJOpreneurs and customers around Australia. So we're very proud of that initiative, and it's something that we've been working on for a while. So you have come at a very good time.
I have.
Won the lotto, possibly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when we say online, it's basically at the demo. Where, where everybody connects before the demo and at the demo. So it's all electronically, and which is really exciting, isn't it?
Which takes that paperwork away.
Yeah,
which
it does
is great.
take the paperwork away. So yeah, in that sense, that was probably the only sort of
challenge.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. So apart from that, it was just following.
And what have you found that's your most positives of starting a business with ENJO? How have you found?
The people that have actually come back or rung me or I've met again and just, I'm so happy. Like I had a lady who has, she had some skin problems. She's bought the top to toe and she's just using water. So she said, all my rashes, everything's gone. I'm just using water now and these. And it's great. So, when you hear that, it's just, it's like, yes, I'm helping. So that's great. Yeah,
that's great. It makes a big difference.
It does.
Thanks, Nikki. So, Barb, we also know that you've put a lot of thought and effort into creating business opportunity and empowering women to manage their own business. As we've just heard, obviously it's quite simple. There's challenges, but a lot of positives along the way. However, Nikki obviously lives in Perth. So what would you say to someone who's in a rural community who may be thinking, oh, can I do that in my city?
Of course you can, because nowadays you can do anywhere you are. And not only nowadays, even 25 years ago, one of our first ENJOpreneur was in Orange, in New South Wales, and I was in Perth. So we, I had at the time to fly over and train her, but after that it was all over the phone. And but nowadays with Zoom meetings, with our online platform, which is amazing, basically, you can learn on whenever it suits you, and then you can recap again if you want to. We have the manual. The product is so easy to use. It's not it's not difficult to use at all, and because it's just using water. And let's face it, if you haven't killed yourself with chemicals yet, I'm sure with our product we're going to be absolutely fine. It's like with everything, it doesn't really matter if you're in the city or rural. You need to know why you want to do the business. And you need to have a real passion for what you want to achieve with your business, because it does take planning. It does take an action plan. It does take a very strong why and what you want to achieve and how you're going to do it. And all the what ifs, which are we here for? Because we have heard all the what ifs about postponements. How do I get demo bookings? Customer care call. We really support with all the what-if questions along the way as well. It doesn't matter if you're rural or if you're in a city, we're here to support.
Yeah, and I think as well, we recently went to a rural, we say rural, but we just went out to Newcastle and Wodonga and a few places and did some opportunity events, which was fantastic because we have a lot of ENJOpreneurs out there, so we do travel quite a bit.
I think also years ago, when you were doing a demo, you would have to, and I've heard some of the girls that have been with ENJO for many years, would have to come here and then they'd fill up their car, and then go back home and fill everything out and then go to the customer. Where now, we just put the order in, it doesn't matter. Like I've had customers who are in Broome, I've had customers in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's
So
awesome.
it just gets sent. You put it in, it's sent. It's fine.
Oh my goodness, I remember. Yeah, of course we had to do our own deliveries. Yes.
It's been 25 years.
It has been 25 years, yeah.
It's been a while.
I always wondered what happens nowadays, you know.
So, Barb, for anyone who's new today tuning in, you mentioned earlier that the product itself and the brand is more relevant than ever, obviously after 25 years. Can you elaborate further on that?
What the interesting part is when we started 25 years ago, I started for health reason for my son because he had asthma, and I wanted to eliminate chemicals from our house because I noticed when we stayed at a house in Austria, which was cleaning with ENJO, that my son didn't have asthma. And we came back home, I started cleaning with my harsh chemicals again, and his asthma was just flaring up. So that was the original reason I started this business. And then over the years, it started slowly but surely changing, and it became all about sustainability. It became about global warming. It became about climate change. And that's why I also trained with Al Gore, because I wanted to hear what he had to say about that as well. So now today, I was sent a link to a report by my sales and marketing manager regarding a report or a survey Triple J did, and they were basically asking the millennials, that's a word, I actually could say it, did you say I just brought up?
Try and do it again.
Oh my God, I want to go there again. So they were actually saying, they're disengaged with politics, and they're disengaging with all the what is going currently on, what the politicians are telling us, because they feel they're always spruiking everything to us, but not actually doing anything. Mm. So, but at the same time, they're all about climate change. They want to make a difference. They want to be part of it. And they do care about politics, but they want politics going back where there are solutions and outcomes, and not just talking. It's not just power-hungry people, filling, so to speak, with our earth, while the planet is heating up at a rate in knots which we need to slow down now. Yeah. So sustainability is so important, and we are a small group of people, in ENJO, and by holding just one demo a week, which gives you a great income, you're making an awesome contribution to the sustainability, to the health of the planet. And I think, this is so empowering to me, that especially mostly we are women, we can work it around our families, we can work it, if you have a full-time job, and you just want to make a contribution. Because we have ENJOpreneurs which do it purely for environmental reason. We have one ENJOpreneur particularly which sticks out, Fran Gregson, and she is amazing. The contribution she makes to the environment by selling ENJO, it's huge. Yeah. She could be out there picking up plastic bottles all day long, but what she actually does, she prevents it. And then they have ENJOpreneurs, which is their full-time income. They will work their business for 40 hours. They send their kids to private schools and everything. The values are still the same. They want to make a contribution, but also want to earn a good income. They can do both, because with ENJO, everybody wins along the way. So it's more relevant than ever. People are concerned of losing their jobs. If we look after the environment, will we lose our jobs? And I think we as a company can really demonstrate, no, you have more flexibility, you have a voice, you can earn great income and create a lifestyle for yourself, which people always ask employers to be more flexible. Mm. But with us, or running your own ENJO business, you are in the driver's seat. Yeah. And doing something great along the way. Yeah. Sorry, I get a bit overexcited.
No, that's fine.
But I've also, I think, I was born late 60s, and so I do remember being in the car and seeing people throw things out of their window, and no one blinked an eye at it. So we've come a long way, but we haven't done that by nothing changing. It's by yourself, like starting up the ENJO company, by Earth Hour, by Clean Up Australia. Yeah, that has got a lot of people on board going, oh, actually, we can do something.
Yeah.
We need to do something. So we can't, as an individual, change the world, but we can do little things. And it just makes you feel better. And also, I'm sort of digressing here a little bit.
It's perfectly fine.
Years ago, I had a cleaner and she actually had to stop because of chemical overload.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure that there's a number of people that have heard that story before of their own cleaner or a friend or something like that. That's terrible. No one should ever be in that position.
Absolutely.
So if we can just do something to help, that's
100%.
fantastic.
I mean, it's never been more relevant to choose sustainable living. So if we can do that as a collective group, that's...
It's all about prevention as well. And most important though, I think, because we're talking about the ENJO Life and the business today as well, you know, you have all these options. There's a lot of people on Insta making great money nowadays, and they run their business from home. And it's the same with ENJO. You will get out of it what you put in. And this is why the passion is such an important part, you know. The rest you can train.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I look at some of the things and you know, what I had to learn in the last 25 years. I'm loving it. And the other thing I love so much, I would say about 50% of all our ENJOpreneurs have been with us for years.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, for years. Where so many small businesses, or businesses, don't even call them small because it's a bit denigrating, businesses fail in the first couple of years because they have to do admin work, they have to do a computer system, you know, they have to do stock management. In our case, you know, we do this all for you, and you know, you can actually do what you love, and this is actually talking about making a difference and selling a product which everybody needs to have anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
Very, very true. Now, back to you, Nikki. In terms of your own experience, where do you see your current position at ENJO and the future of your business and ENJO as the brand?
So at the moment, well, I started off very successful. I was able to tick all the boxes that was there, and I do like KPIs, key performance indicators. I do like those, and so I was able to tick those boxes off. I've started slowing down a little bit, and that's, you know, the flexibility of this job. I can do that. I've got my 50th about to happen, and then I'm going overseas for 3 months. So it's sort of going to be on hold. Come back, and then just get straight into it and give it everything I've got. And as I was saying, you know, like, to be on board with ENJO, I see this, like you say, it's such a relevant time. So I just see it in the... Yeah, I've come in at the right time.
I mean, not many places you could go for 3 months and still run a business if you wanted to online, so that's pretty cool.
No, that's right,
awesome.
exactly. And especially when I had only just started before Christmas and then said, oh, and I'm going away for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not,
But the other great thing is, of course, that your customers, it doesn't matter if you sit in Austria or you sit in the US, you can send an SMS to them, and especially existing customers who have been to a demo and know the products, you know, we send out an EDM on your behalf, an electronic, what's it called?
Electronic mailing.
Direct mail. Thank you. Direct mail. I know my business. So it's quite fascinating to see that you can go away and you still can earn an income, and the customer is, you know, not left out, and it's just being sold to because of all the other support along the way as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you do get an email on your phone and it says from ENJO, you've just received a commission because somebody's actually hopped online, and it doesn't matter whether you're overseas or not.
Yeah.
They've made an order, so you actually make a commission. So
because you have built a relationship, we want to reward you for it as well. And the customer obviously has to put your name in as well because you have had that great connection with them, which is super important.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to some questions. So we've got some questions coming through. So just for our viewers, over the course of 2019, we'll be holding these types of events to shine a light on what we are doing as a company and where we are heading. We're always looking to work with like-minded women all around the country and build friendships.
And men, of course.
And men, of course. We have a few male ENJOpreneurs.
We have two.
We have two. And we want to build friendships, businesses, and also contribute to a healthier planet. So we have a couple of questions. So the first one we've actually got that's come through. What does the first demo involve? I'll give this one over to you, Nikki. How did you start out when you first did your business?
It was sort of like a business launch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a big group of network friends because I'm fairly new to Perth.
Yeah.
And
which not everyone does. So
no, that's right. So I just used my neighbours, and they came. A couple of them came, and I was able to work with my team leader.
Yeah.
And she was able to come with me, and then just guide me through. Well, probably she sat back, and then just at the end, she was able to just debrief with me of what she thought was really strong, what she thought was needed some work. Yeah. And that was fantastic. I didn't feel like I was being judged or anything. It was really just
that extra
help.
Support.
Mm. Yeah, it was just support, exactly. It was just help, and that's what I've found along the way. That everybody that I've come across, no one is trying to put you down in any way. Everyone's there to help build you up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Perfect. I think we've got a couple more through. So our next one is, how many hours do you need to work? Barb, I'll put this one over to you.
Well, I always recommend that you put in the hours you can afford to take away from either your not take away, to put in from your family, so you work it around your family. It really depends how you want to work it. To really earn a good income and make a difference, I recommend that you do at least 4 hours a week, which is one demo with house coaching and then basically following up with customer care and all those things. So this is my recommendation, because obviously then we have ENJOpreneurs who do 16 demos a month, and then we have others who do 2. I strongly recommend that you at least invest 4 to 5 hours a week.
And you can start, I guess, with how many hours at the beginning and then work your way up, or vice versa.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what's great about the flexibility.
The interesting part though is that there's plenty of demos out there once you get into the groove, and I think the important thing is that you don't leave too many gaps. It's like when you learn a new skill and you hold a demo 1 month and then you don't hold one for another month. It's literally consecutive demos all the time. So getting in the groove, because the more comfortable you are out there in front of the customer, the more they relate to you as well.
Yeah, very important point. And you can learn from, you debrief on the way home as well. Oh, I should have told him that. I forgot to tell him that. Okay, next time I'll make sure that line gets in. Yeah.
Self-reflection, definitely. Right. Now this is one that comes up quite a bit. I'll get both of you to quickly give us an answer on that one. Do you find people don't want to give up chemicals? So when they first see ENJO, do you feel there's sometimes a hesitation, or do you feel like it's a no-brainer?
Well, you go first.
Yeah, I've definitely come across a particular person who came along and was just whatever. I'm whacking the whole way.
Yeah.
I did bump into her again and spoke about. I suppose I'm learning as I'm going as well. So spoke about the magic fibres that you call the smart fibres. And talking about the smart fibres, and she's okay. So it was starting to click. Okay, maybe they do work. And
so much more than a glove fits.
So just, which to me that just shows she just needs education. She just needs to be aware of what it actually is and how it actually works. So
I personally know how skeptical I was when I first came across ENJO, because I loved my bleach and everything, and being extremely house proud. I mean, I think my grouting needed regrouting 3 times a year because I just bleached the living daylight out of it. But once I started using it and saw it in action, I started to make make the change. But I found when I never try to convince people to give up their chemicals. What I try to show them is there's a better way to clean. And if a customer by the end of it is still uncertain, I basically ask them or invite them back, or if I could come to their own house and demonstrate it to them. Because it's not about pushing a product on somebody who doesn't believe in it because they won't use it. And you know, it's really educating. And let's face it, change is difficult. You know, we all struggle with change, and I think we have to be respectful of our customers as well. But once they've seen you demonstrate and they see the product working, just the butter test alone, you know, and you usually they have this aha moment and go like, you know what, they got something there, you know. And especially 25 years into it, we get it less and less now than we used in the early days.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
But a valid question.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you've been doing something so long a certain way, making that change can be a little bit scary. And once you do it, you don't know why you didn't. So that's something we get quite often. Now we've got one last question which is coming through saying, what if we don't? So what if you don't have a background in sales? So obviously, was that something you considered when you started, Nikki?
My background is sales.
Yeah.
And what I have learnt about sales is that you don't sell. You don't, you know, I've been the real estate person, so you know, people don't like the real estate or the car salesman because usually they're push. Don't do that. You know, it's just about knowing your product and explaining what it is, showing people what the benefits are, and then it's for them to choose. And that's all that sales is. So if somebody hasn't done sales before, please don't be scared off on that. Just learn the product and then just repeat it. Just show people what you have learned. And that's all you can do. So yeah, that's...
To me, sales is being authentic.
Yeah.
And I definitely wasn't a salesperson because I'm a bookkeeper, trained bookkeeper. So I was much more comfortable with figures than anything else. But when I came to Australia to actually get out, the accent is actually Austrian as well, I had to get out of my comfort zone and I had to learn to connect with people. And that's how I learned to sell. I shouldn't say sell myself, that sounds a little bit weird. I didn't sell myself when I arrived in this country. But you know, I had to promote myself to make new friends, and for that I had to become more outgoing because I didn't grow up in the community, because I grew up in a little village, so everybody knew me. I never had to get out of the comfort zone. But I tell you what, it made me really grow as a person as well, and made some amazing people. Yeah. So I think, you know, if you have the right attitude and the passion, people are attracted to you.
Yeah.
And people will buy off you, and that's the most important thing, because people have to make their own choices. Otherwise, they have buyer's regret at the end of the day, you know, and you don't want people to go home and say, oh, I want to cancel this because I really didn't want to buy it. So it's really all this that the customer makes the decision. We have to, of course, assist and letting them know what they need for their home, because let's face it, it's probably the first or the second time they have seen ENJO, so they don't know yet. Yeah. So we have to make sure we assist them with their buying choices. So yeah, I'm the prime example.
The example here on the couch for you.
You know, that sales is not necessarily, you know, a trained salesperson, because I will believe that we all have it in us to promote ourselves.
And with the support here as well, I mean, at ENJO HQ, it makes it that even more easier for you to be able to run your business and sell to your customers with passion. So that's all we have time for this evening. Thank you both for joining us tonight. We will be sending out a recording tomorrow via email, and you'll have the opportunity to ask further questions. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next ENJO Life chat.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
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 Thank you.